Twitch-AfrofishOG.
We might be taking a quick break next week, and then we'll get on with the week after that. It'll be a week right before Christmas, so that would be definitely fun. Yeah, that would be definitely an interesting one too. So,
what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Technical Errors, episode 17, baby. Good to have you all here. We are back once again with AfrofishOG. Good to have you here, buddy. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me again, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you remember last time, we had a little bit of a talk about the whole Spider-Man suits and just, doing our own shit. But then we got to talking a lot about all the different games and such. And we got into a little discussion at work about the Star Wars game, specifically the Star Wars Unleashed game, and thinking about what could have made that game a whole lot better than what it is that other Star Wars games have been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this one was something I kind of just popped up into my head. It was something I've been wanting to do, but I didn't really also have the right person to do it with, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was definitely because I love the Star Wars The Force Unleashed games. I was just recently playing it about a month ago. The game's very rough.
It is for a game back then and what it is now and what we have now.
It's terrible for how rough it is. So I decided, I was like, you know what, might as well go talk about it and discuss how we could actually make this game, a third one just better. Like, I mean, in my view, and I know in Tek-no's view, just better.
Yeah. So just to let anyone who watches this afterwards know what it is. Star Wars Force Unleashed was a kind of a what if scenario of Star Wars. So the idea was that Starkiller, I'm terrible pronouncing his name. Galameric, is it?
Galameric, yeah.
Galameric. Supposedly the idea, the Phantom Menace, probably not.
Like, the Phantom Menace are definitely interesting. I'd say they're a very passionate group of people.
Passionate? I wouldn't say that.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because I don't believe that every single one of them are a bunch of like raving nutcases.
Yeah.
So like, I do believe that some of them are actually very, very passionate when it comes to Star Wars, which is absolutely acceptable. You know what I mean? That's absolutely acceptable. I do believe, just like everything else, you're gonna get people who take it too far. So
exactly.
But that's all I'm going to say about
that. So anyway, for those who don't know about what the Star Wars Force Unleashed game is, it's a what if scenario in which the main character is the Padawan of Anakin, aka Darth Vader, and in this game, it's supposedly that it's him who starts the rebellion. It's him that leads to the inspiration for the rebels to fight back against the Empire. And then they made a second one. Now, second one, we can talk more about that later on. And I got mixed feelings about it. But for starters, what I like what they do with the first one, the one thing I would keep is the Darth Vader beginning level. Keep that into the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that really, to me, opened up this whole, like, oh, man, you gonna play as Darth Vader, which I absolutely love the opening level with it. You really feel like you are a walking badass.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you're just, like, force carrying a bunch of Wookiees and just impaling them and just doing all this stuff, and you don't even have to hold the block button. He blocks automatically just by the blasters coming at him.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like the fact when you start using things like force choke, you can just force choke the Wookiees right out. You have the force push, I believe, as well, which is just an absolute monster compared to it. It's a really good way to show like how powerful like you can be with the Force.
Right. And the whole purpose was because Darth Vader was going to be the final boss. So it's pretty much displaying like the power level that he has, how much of a Force master he is in contrast to who he was beforehand. But aside from that, one of the things that really disappointed me about this game when I first played it was while I had a lot of fun, there was barely any like exploration added to the game. It felt more linear than most Star Wars games. And a lot of Star Wars games, they give you a lot of exploration. They allow you to, explore the levels and see all these different types of things. Whereas this game just pretty much limited you to fight the bad guys in this room, move on to the next one, and just keep going.
Well, I mean, if you really look at like the Star Wars themselves, before we got even to something as simple as like the Fallen Order, there wasn't a whole lot. So I mean, to make it linear was kind of the name of the game when it came to 2009. Even that era, I think of like someone like Dante's Inferno, which is a very linear based game. A little bit like you spend a little bit more, but there's not much to it. And Star Wars Battle, or sorry, that's wrong though. Star Wars The Force Unleashed was kind of just took that same route. And I, for the most part, I was fine with it because we are just kind of streamlining through a story, which is actually one of the highlights. I think is it's the story is really good.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. And I love the progression it gives to it. This idea that we're going to be fighting secretly for the Empire, only for it to be found out that, kind of like a typical Sith, when it comes down to saving your own skin, you're going to betray those around you. That one, I don't know how to put it. I was shocked, but I was also like, okay, I kind of saw it coming, but how did I not see that coming?
Well, what's kind of fun about it is, in a way, it's a bit of like a reverse Anakin. You have someone who starts off very entrenched in the dark, and watching him make the choices to, I believe, the Emperor fight is actually the canon ending, and so him deciding to sacrifice himself for the rebellion kind of completed it. It kind of completed that story. Because as you see throughout the story, he's not what he believes he is. He believes he is fully dedicated to the dark side, and he's really not. When things start to go awry, like you see the emotion on his face.
Right. And this game also establishes too that even if you are with the dark side, you can still be strong with the Force and you can still do good. Because I think if it was explained in Star Wars, the idea of the Sith and Jedi was just a different belief of how the Force works, where the Sith believe it is a gift that is given onto you, and therefore you have a right to do what you want with that gift. You should use it to the fullest extent. The Jedi were more, it should be used to bring peace. It should be controlled. But in the end, it still does show whether or not you use the power of the dark side for good or evil is really up to you.
No, exactly. Actually, there's something, I don't know if you noticed in the comments, the Lindenauer made a comment about the Star Killer and Ahsoka having the same lightsaber fighting style. So that fighting style actually started off more, and it made more sense with Star Killers actually than Ahsoka's, because Ahsoka, so it's actually, I know we were talking about this, it's actually an assassin style hold, which for someone like Ahsoka would not make any sense because she never was an assassin. So, like, for Star Killer, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because every mission in the beginning was you tracking down Jedi that survive Order 66. You are sent to pretty much kill them. So you are an assassin for the Empire. It makes sense that he has that fighting sense because he has been trained in the ways of being an assassin.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, when you see Ahsoka use it, I think they did that just because it looked cool. But in reality, it should have been, Ahsoka shouldn't be using it. And towards the end, you don't see Ahsoka use it. So, but like Star Killer, it made complete sense that he would use that kind of style. But that was just something I've always kind of like wanted to always kind of differentiate, because yes, they do have the same style, even though Galen would absolutely just dominate.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. I remember a while back when Ahsoka was getting stronger, a lot of people were asking, gee, I wonder who would win the fight. Would it be Ahsoka or would it be Star Killer? I said Star Killer would have easily, like, I hate to say it, Star Killer would have mopped the floor with her. It would have been no contest. I get it. Ahsoka is a pretty has come pretty far. She has become one with the Force, and she's done a great job at it. But the issue is, Starkiller has shown that he is so entrenched within the Force that he is capable of unlocking its full potential and using it to the fullest extent to survive. Ahsoka is, while one with the Force, still has yet to connect deeply with it on a deep level.
No, exactly. I don't actually want to check Reddit to see, because Reddit's going to know more than anything. Because they're always honest, but some of it...
yeah, Reddit's always honest. They've never lied. Don't believe everything you hear, kiddos.
No, it's from what they're saying here. The first comment on here is it's Starkiller. I mean, and I love Ahsoka. I haven't seen the Ahsoka TV show, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dropped off quite a while ago. For a lot of the Disney Star Wars stuff, but I still enjoy older Legend continuity, and I enjoy the game. So that's the only reason why I even look up through Star Wars stuff much anymore. But I do think that it'd be very interesting. I don't see Ahsoka winning against Starkiller, and that's just because Starkiller just comes off as just such an absolute just a powerhouse. I mean, it is kind of funny in a way. We realize how strong he actually is.
Right. Now, the question is, what could be a way to improve upon it? Starting with the first game, what could be a way of improving upon the game?
Yeah, because they didn't in The Force Unleashed 2. But I will say, they only had, I think it was 9 months to make it. So, that's no time at all.
It's no surprise, considering I think EA made the game. EA made this game?
I think so.
Let me check. But let's see.
Yeah, I think they might have published it. I don't remember exactly who made it. It's like Lucasfilms and I think maybe EA, but they just
Force Unleashed. Let's see. Oh no.
It was LucasArts.
It was made by LucasArts and part of the Force Unleashed multimedia project. So okay. Oh, but THQ also helped make it. So
THQ.
Yeah. Yeah, it was LucasArts. But yeah, so the issue is, could they have made a better game if they were given more time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they
would have done what they did.
Yeah, because it feels rushed, doesn't it? There feels like a lot of it feels like near the end of the game, it feels like they were running out of time. So okay, just start putting some stuff together, make sure it makes sense, but just get something in while we can.
Well, I mean, with the second one, I mean, they really didn't do the way that they did the lightsaber crystals were not very engaging. You get to go to places like Bespin, Cloud City, but I'm not gonna lie, it's very uninteresting. The story itself was kind of dumb with the whole clone thing constantly. Honestly, I always thought the lightsaber assassin style was cool, but seeing him dual wield lightsabers in the assassin style looks really stupid.
Yeah, they should have. I think personally, if I could change that, no two lightsabers. I know some, edgy 14-year-old from Hot Topic's gonna look at that like, oh my god, so fucking dark and edgy. Yes. Oh my god, you're you're just all you're needing is black eye makeup and lipstick, and you are turning into that Hot Topic turned adult.
Dude, you don't understand me. My parents don't understand me.
We don't care. Just go get a job.
And that's the thing is when you see the two, I think we'll start with the first one, but real quick here. If I were to actually do two, I would have gave you the ability to choose multiple different lightsaber styles.
Different fighting styles.
Yeah, you either get to choose the basic assassin style. You get to choose a regular one-handed. You could actually play as two-handed. They both play the same. They're just different animation sets.
Yeah, sort of like what they did with the Fallen Order. I always loved combining them both into a staff. I always loved doing that. That was
always cool. But with the first one, I wanted to say one thing I would definitely do differently is focus on trying to get different worlds, because you really just go to the 3 worlds. You go to 3 worlds and then you just go back to those 3 worlds.
Oh no shit. Yeah, that was something that I didn't understand about Force Unleashed too.
Like you
Because
could go back to one of them.
one.
Because I mean, I will say that Felucia was very different the second time around than the first time, which was totally fine. Also, Shock T, I feel so bad for that Jedi. I feel so bad for her. Like she just she can't win. Like they talk about her.
She always had bad luck in the series. Like
Yeah, they
nothing
were
ever
like
went right for her.
they're like, oh well, she's a high, a high, super powerful Jedi, a Jedi master, and like Master Shock T. And then she in like a deleted scene in like Star Wars Episode 3 just gets ousted like by Grievous. And I was like, oh, okay. And then later on, while you play in the Force Unleashed, Shock T dies just as Kenny from Sonic. They bring her back just to be like, hey, you're really strong, right? And they're like, yeah. Like, well, guess who we need for death? But like Shock T then dies to Starkiller. And the one thing I will say that that kind of bums me is the fact that she is supposed to be so powerful, but like when you fight her, it just feels like you're just kind of bullying her.
Well, yeah,
like,
for some reason, when I first saw her and she comes in the game, I'm thinking, hopefully they do more with her than they did for the entire movie series, because she deserves a lot more. While I'm playing this, I'm instantly freaking wrecking her. And all I could be thinking is, why are they doing this to her? Is there like someone at Lucasfilms or LucasArts that just really hates this character? Like, are they just like, no, whatever you do, make her look badass, but I want her to suffer. Make her look stupid. Make her look weak. Like, this
you know what the worst part is that she was the voice of Wonder Woman. The voice of Wonder Woman, Susan Eisenberg, plays Shock T.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like that part really kind of got me. And I was like, man, she's the voice of Wonder Woman, plays Shock T. This is so cool. And then you just kind of out her really, really easily.
Wasn't even like
and it sucks because the set pieces of the fights are actually really cool when you're fighting, and then all of a sudden you knock her off the like these are all like the end with like QTEs, but like you knock her off into this pit, and then she just like rises from one of those like Sarlacc pits or whatever. I don't remember what they're called. I think the Sarlacc pit's on Tatooine.
No, you're thinking. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, the Sarlacc pits are within Tatooine only.
Yeah, so like she has like this giant tentacle monster thing, and then she just rises on one of the tentacles, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be a fight. Like I'm excited for this. But yeah, like besides that, if you really want to talk about like worlds and stuff, I think they should have. I don't know. It's weird because like I don't have any ideas on like where to actually go because there's a lot really advanced in terms of that. But I would say that don't do 3 worlds and then just slap 3 more worlds on. Like that was just not much.
I would say one of the things I probably would have bought back was the Jedi Sith, not Jedi, the Sith Temple. Because what's so amazing about that is if you played Knights of the Old Republic, you go into this temple and it's literally guarded by Sith Jedi zombies that fight you, and they are pretty much masters of the ways of the Force, which makes them all the more challenging to fight when you play in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine Starkiller, maybe to find answers on how to better defeat whoops, my mic cut out. Goes to this temple, and all of a sudden you see like these decaying, like skeleton, like just Siths rising from their tombs, activating their lightsabers, ready to fight you as a means of saying, "Do you deserve to be here? Then beat us."
Right. No, that'd be interesting. There was a couple parts that I did like, in terms of like fighting or when you go through to see like meet like Princess Leia, right? And I actually didn't mind that part, or even having Ram Koda be like kind of his turn into like a pseudo master for him.
What did they do to Ram Koda? Like they made it too like much like he's a comedic relief in the second one. Did you notice that?
In the second one, yeah, he's just there to crack jokes.
Yeah.
Which really bums me out because even though he's a drunk when after you know, hit him in the eyeballs with your lightsaber.
That part was fucking brutal.
I'm surprised that that's all that happened to him.
Like you got blind at that point. I don't care if I'm a Jedi and I survive getting stabbed in the eyes, and the worst I get is I'm blind. I'm going to find a lottery ticket.
Well, like, isn't it like I feel like when they stab him, it like cauterizes it because it's so hot or something. And I'm like, so his eyes must be looking like straight up burnt marshmallows.
Well, the idea is that the reason, like, you know how unlike a sword where you can survive a stab from a sword or a knife, the idea is that once the lightsaber penetrates you, the heat from that saber is so intense that it's practically cooking your insides. So if he was stabbed in the eye, there should have been a point where his brain was practically being cooked like a fish.
I mean, unless you're
my girlfriend's right next to me, and she heard that analogy. She covered her ears, going, "Ew."
I mean, unless your name's Sabine, because
you can... God, Sabine, no.
But like, I mean, it was so when he gets smoked right in the eyes, and then they like toss him off the edge of like based on the edge of a planet, and this dude, I'm like, I bet you this guy like superhero landed.
Oh yeah, just basically left a human-sized hole, but then somehow managed to make it out.
Oh yeah, and then the fact that you find him drinking.
Cherry. He's just like,
he survives getting thrown off a building.
My girlfriend just say again.
He survives getting thrown off a building.
He didn't get thrown off a building. He got thrown off a ship from space and landed on a planet.
Yeah, and then the next time you see him, he's just drinking. Like he's totally fine. I don't know the full.
Well, he has
and
that.
If anyone else can remember, I don't remember the full length.
Yeah,
of Star Wars. Like I don't know if it's like a 9-month period, a few week period.
It's actually, I think someone confirms. I think the wiki confirms it's like a couple of months.
And that's in the game, correct?
Okay, so in a couple of months, you're telling me this dude went from dropping from space to just drinking at a bar and being like, "Ugh, my eyeball, my force, my senses to the force have been cut," and I'm like, "Oh."
That part,
I'm more surprised with how you just survived this, but okay.
I'm actually a little bit more confused because I believe if I read one of the books, it is said that say a Jedi loses his sight, or even a Sith, just a Force user loses their sight. It is said that the Force can guide them. It'll like be like their new think of it like a seeing eye dog, except it doesn't tell you exactly where to go, but the Force warns you of danger and it lets you know where to go without really having to see it. It's like what's his name from Mortal Kombat? Kenshi. It's like Kenshi.
I was gonna say it's like Kenshi. They just give you spider sense pretty much.
Yeah. Like he doesn't even need to look at you to fight. All he needs is just someone to guide him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know why he says, "Oh, I got cut off from the Force." Are you sure it's not just because you're just constantly getting drunk and the Force is like, "Ah, fuck this, I'm done."
Right. Like, and the thing was crazy too is like with Ram Koda and how he's like surprised. He's like, "Oh, you can sense my thoughts." Like, explain that. I wanted them to explain more of that because I was like, "Oh, like what does that mean?" You know what I mean? But they kind of don't, and that's just one of those little plot holes I think that just kind of sucked or whatever. I do kind of also wish that the whole Juno thing didn't happen the way it did. Like,
well, the Juno romance is kind of mid, to be honest, and then they ruined it in the second one.
Yeah, they did, and that's why I kind of wish they would have just kept him as like he cares for her. But it wasn't like a romance thing. It really kind of felt really forced. One of the highlights of there was Proxy's fight. I'll definitely say the boss fights in this game are pretty fun when you don't, when it works. Right. like I was fighting the Bull Rancor, which is about as much fun as fighting a regular Rancor, which is not.
What's up, Cake Dragon Man? Good to see you. There's my middle school friend right there.
Made joke. But the the one thing with like the Rancors were cool. And I do like the little like QTE moments when like you have a chance to finish them off in like a cool different fashion. Like that was actually pretty dope.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where the QTE I don't mind because it doesn't make up the majority of the fight. It's just a whole like, oh, you're about to finish this guy off. Why don't you look like a badass while you do it?
Right, no, exactly. And like I said, the boss fights themselves are definitely a highlight, which I mean, I would keep those. The only boss fight I was not, it's not even a boss, it was like a sub boss. And that was those like Sith, I don't know what they're called, the black cloaked ones that would fight every once in a while. They weren't really that entertaining.
They were in the game, you said?
Yeah, after you've like when you're in the end of Bespin and you're about to get on the ship, and then there's like this dark cloaked one of like Sidious's, like the Inquisitor before the Inquisitor.
Oh yeah, hang on. I think fuck. What was the name of them? Fuck, that's gonna drive me nuts now.
I don't know. Not worth my time. Like,
I'm
like they weren't the worst, like, but they were just not that awesome.
Well, the thing is, I think what you're probably thinking of is that I don't know how to put it. This is where I'm glad they kind of like retconned that. So doing a little bit of research, they are technically Inquisitors. They are meant to
Shadow Guards.
Shadow Guards.
Thank
Guards.
you.
Yeah, they were changed to be Inquisitors though when Disney took over.
Okay,
which was the idea that the Empire would track down other means of good to have you here, Flamenco. Stay Flamenco-tastic.
Flamingo-tastic.
Yeah.
No, I think they are kind of cool, but like they just aren't that much fun to fight, to be honest.
No. I think personally making them Inquisitors makes them way more intimidating.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because based on the Disney lore specifically makes it that the Inquisitors are meant to track down surviving Jedis or people who were like Jedi younglings that might have survived, Padawans. And they would give them a choice. You can come with them willingly and be trained in the ways of the dark side, or one of two things would happen. They'll capture you and torture you until you become one, or they just kill you.
Star Wars, Disney.
Right. Yeah, score one for Disney for making something go.
Yeah,
so,
out of like what 500 other things they screwed up.
Oh, they'll make something interesting eventually. So the thing too is I'm just throwing so much shade at Disney right now.
What was that?
I'm like throwing so much shade at Disney right now.
Well,
like,
because
I don't think I should. I feel like I shouldn't, but I don't know. This is also who I am. So
I mean, look, the thing is, Disney has done some okay stuff with Star Wars that I actually enjoy. They've done some good to it, but there's like so much retcons and so much changes that they made to the universe of Star Wars to where I really think they forgot like what makes Star Wars what it was. Like, yeah, like Nameless says, Rogue One was probably one of their best works. Rogue One
I had to watch twice because I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought it was boring as fuck the first time I watched
wow,
it.
really?
Yeah, I was not into it at all. And then I had to like rewatch it and then be like, okay, this is actually pretty good.
Okay. Well,
but like the first time I watched it, I think also I was just not caring. It's kind of like how I felt when like the first time I watched the Last Jedi. I had restless leg syndrome while I was in the movie theater. So like that didn't make it any easier, but I tell you what, when I saw Leia like floating with the Force, my legs stopped.
Yeah, I can hear that. I get that.
But like it was, the thing is that God, we're gonna start on a Disney Star Wars thing. Oh my God. Okay, pulling back because I don't want. That's a topic for a different time. Probably towards the end of like the episode because I feel like it's gonna keep going. But also I wanted to bump over to more of the gameplay side of it and things that like I would like to see improved. And this is from 1 and 2. Because I feel like the main Force abilities were there. Force Grip, Force Lightning, Force Push. Force Repulse was just cool.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh
lightning
god, I love
shield. The
using
lightning
that.
shield I never used because you can just use lightning combos, so that really have never felt a reason to use it.
Mhm.
And I mean saber throw. Like those ones are the most needed, except for in the second one where you can do mind control, which you just don't use. But I
I
would
won't
say
lie, there are times where I did love playing using the mind control because I loved you doing it where one guy's left standing, I make it like just block all his blasters and I'd say, "Hey, do me a favor, go jump off the cliff."
right though, like, and the thing is so about 1, 2, and this kind of leads into 2, and you know, I loved the combo system. Like even though it was like press X, Y, Y. I think X and Y because the lightsaber like combos I would use so much. My favorite ability was just using the lightning grenade, just hitting him with lightning and then throwing him in other people. I did it. There's I don't know how many times I would like do it to a Jawa, and then I would like kill all the Jawas. Then I go kill myself, and then I
Killing
go
little
back.
teddy bears.
Yeah, and then I go back and then like attack all the Jawas. Like,
I always felt like a dick because I'm like these tiny little Jawas, they're like teddy bears carrying little staffs, they're trying to kill you, and then
oh yeah, like, and I love like how sometimes the camera would go with them. And I'm like, they're like, yeah, they're like, Houdini, and they go run up, and I just force push him, and you're just watching his head just smoke the wall at like 40 miles an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just like smacking. I'm like, oh, I did that. I did that. Like
yeah.
I mean, and it was fun. I'll also say too, the destructible environments were really cool. And if they ever made another one, I'd want more of those.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best way I would say, okay, so this is how I would actually kind of depict it a little bit. If you ever play Control,
No.
okay, so in Control, fantastic game by the way, made by Remedy, the same people who make Alan Wake. The environment is like completely usable. Like when you play as Jesse Faden, she can like use telekinesis similar to the Force, but you can like rip like parts off of like doors. You can like the ground, you'll just rip concrete out of the ground
Mhm.
and just start throwing it. I would love to see that implemented.
So
Instead
being
of just
able to use destroyed environments or just be able to destroy the environment around you and
yes.
use the destruction as weapons or ways of
Yeah.
fighting.
So it'll also give me a reason just to start like running around because if you're gonna make a Force Unleashed, I should feel more like I am in the as the Force. And I think just picking them up and like picking up pieces of rock and just throwing it, really good idea. Also give me and this is in terms of like if I were to play like a level up system, give me different like when you use the Force, right? Like let's say I'm using Force Lightning. This is off the top of my head. So like when you do my level up tree, you kind of sprouts into different directions a little bit.
Mhm.
So you can use one that might be more focused on like boss fights. So it's like a stronger Force Lightning, right? Where you can go another route and have it do more like a chain lightning route.
I would like if they did something like that where maybe you could upgrade like a whole leveling up um a whole what's it called? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. A whole like tree system where
Mhm.
not only does it go in multiple directions, but it also improves the ability to use it again. And then maybe if you could connect those trees where it's not like they're all the same, but you could connect the different types of force moves that either go with your lightsaber, go with your other force abilities, maybe add into it, maybe make them or maybe like afterwards you can unlock new different abilities to utilize those those types of force abilities like lightning. Maybe you can make it like you can improve your force lightning to instead of just shooting a whole fury of them out of your hand, you could make it like, oh, I'm gonna zap just one strike at you, and once it kills that enemy it bounces over to the other one, keeps going and going and going and going.
Right.
Or make it like you can have the ability to throw your lightsaber, catch it, and then just swing it around with the force.
Well, that'd be cool. Like, I mean, one of the things that I would definitely do is, you can use Force Grip, and like
Mhm.
I would turn Force Grip into more like Force Pull. So you have two. You can either use halfway, like how do you have like the Dual Sense on like a PlayStation, right? So halfway force grip actually doesn't pick up, it actually pulls them towards you.
Right.
So like you can still, let's say I'm thinking of like a pad, like a one of those like D-pad things right now. So like I have, let's say I use force pull, so I can pull them in towards me, hit them with lightning, and then use force push to shove one away or something like that, and then it explodes, right? Instead of having to just stop, because that was one of the things I hated the most, is when I wanted to get creative, but I'm also taking a lot of damage. And this game, you get stun locked really easily.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
There's multiple times where I got stun locked, and I was like, well, I guess I'm dying. Like,
guess I'll die. Yeah. What's the fucking point?
Right. So, like, that part really got to me a lot. In terms of, like, new abilities, I mean, they gave you the Force Rage in 2, and I think, what was it? I would love to see one where, like, I don't know, maybe a Force, instead of just turning them to kill the enemies, it's mostly like the Jedi mind trick. Let them follow me.
Like, you mean have like pawns?
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Yeah, I love that. Or in many cases, another thing you could try doing with the Force is one that allows you to heal yourself. That allows you to at least heal yourself. Maybe sacrifice a little bit of your Force ability, like your bar, to refill a tiny bit of your health.
Well, and this is actually something off the top of my head I just thought of. So because I would love the game story-wise and gameplay-wise to feature like choices as well, right? So depending on your choices, it's really going to give that Infamous vibe of like, depending on your choices, that's where the kind of the leveling system goes. You know what I mean? So either it's going to lean towards more dark abilities or towards more like light abilities. Now, I think it would be cool to be able to do that. Like the way that Infamous did it worked really well, and I think it would work very well in Star Wars.
It would. It could, because it allows you to, you'd get more, more abilities, more ways to play the game, and it offer more replayability too, especially if you make it that once you start a new game, you have to start all over. And it allows you to try new ways to fight different enemies and fight bosses. You could even make it that they could combine the dark side of the Force with the light side of the Force, and you can create all these powerful different attacks.
Mm-hmm. There could definitely be. It's one that I want it to be able to keep me on my toes and keep me rolling. You know what I mean?
Rolling.
That's all I feel like it'd be doing, is like trying to keep you moving. And that's how, even in the difficulty, that's how I feel like it should be. It should be something where like when you're fighting, you should always feel like there is going to be a threat. One of the things I hated the most, like I loved in the first one, but I hated in the second, was how the enemy variety. Like the enemy variety in 1 is actually really cool. They really don't add much of anything to 2, except the one on top of my head is like the robot machines, the big robots that have shields that don't do anything except for they hit you with carbonite, which is just fucking stupid.
It felt like generic playing the second one. It was just fight enemy that shoots you here, fight enemy that shoots you there, then get to the boss battle. It was lather, rinse, repeat. And in the first one, you had so many different things that you had to fight. Like not every place was just blaster. There were so many things that required you to be able to have to change your fighting style to be able to defeat certain enemies that were within that world. But then there also came down to the boss battles. I hate to say this to anyone who maybe is a fan of Force Unleashed 2. Force Unleashed 1 had way better boss battles. They were way better. They had way more compatibility to where it felt like a challenge no matter who you were fighting.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And except for I'm not gonna lie, so the first time I ever played the fight between Maris Brood, which I always thought was so cool because she had like the 2 Tonfa lightsaber, and she can turn invisible because but like she basically got bullied into the corner, and I just proceededly was like, I'd slash her a couple times, and before she'd be able to use her move, I'd just shove her into the corner again.
Yeah,
And I was
there's
like,
a
yeah,
lot. There are a lot of exploits though in that game. Both of them. There's a
oh,
lot of exploits that can make the boss battles really easy.
they're really funny too. Like it's
They
just.
can be. Here's
Although
this
I'm gonna
powerful
say, I think the guy from the second one was the second boss fight in the first game. I can't think of his name right now. He's in the robot graveyard, and he's tough. He's tough. Like he was an actual tough one. But it's weird because as soon as you tough, you get Shock T, and well, I just bullied Shock T again. So like it's really like the game itself was really fun. I think a better leveling system. I think expanding branching paths. Even in like branching paths in the terms of like even something like Spider-Man Web of Shadows, if you remember how they did their way of like that's how they should have done the clone route. Like in 2 and how the story in 2, imagine if you had multiple times throughout the story where you had to make a choice and it's based off of what Star Killer, the clone, or if he's not, what he remembers, So in his mind, he's like, oh, well, let's say it's Proxy. You don't know it's Proxy, right? And Proxy's like, do you remember this or this? Like 2 different choice scenarios. And depending on the scenarios you choose, that kind of leads to your, what your ending's going to be. I mean, it also means you'd have to do multiple endings, but I'm fine with that rather than the shit we got.
Right. And his name is Kazdan Paradas. And his whole had to look it up who it was, but I remember reading a little bit into like
he's insane.
Was that?
I believe he went insane.
Well, he didn't just go insane. It wasn't just like the isolation that drove him insane. What drove him insane was that during Order 66, he was fighting alongside other Jedis that were like friends of his, and to save himself, he got onto a ship and left them behind. So while in isolation, he tried meditating to try and like find peace, and all he kept getting was a ton of nightmares, and his friends like calling him a coward and saying,
I bet they did.
What's that?
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah, they called him a coward. So when you find him, it makes sense when he says, "Don't worry, my masters, I'll protect you." It's because he felt like by fighting you, he was going to redeem himself for betraying everyone around him, leaving them to die.
Well, if you remember too, he also had like a whole Jedi temple.
Yeah, he recreated it out of junk.
Yeah, like he's like it's when he says like master's like, I have failed you, and then he dies.
Yeah.
And that's where you see it in Starkiller's eyes when he like someone gets killed and he's just kind of like, I shouldn't be here. Like and I enjoyed that. The one other thing I would say, something about the 2 that we did talk about, and I would want to just reiterate. He made just the council members. The one thing I know I'd say too that we also talked about before, which would also be really cool, would be as much as I like in the Fallen Order that you could switch like lightsaber abilities on the fly.
Yeah,
I think it would be really cool also in the Force Unleashed, especially for how powerful Starkiller is. Like Cal Kates, I think his name is Cal Kates. I think it's Cal. I know it's Cal. I don't remember. I think it's Cal Kates, but he's really strong when it comes to. He's pretty powerful himself, but seeing what Starkiller could do in that situation, like, would just be so dope. I just wish they would have implemented multiple lightsaber styles to it, because seeing him like with the Force with like a dual lightsaber, dual bladed, would be super cool.
It would definitely be. In regards to the whole gameplay, how do you feel about the whole DLC where if you go with a bad ending, you technically get resurrected, but you are now so entrenched to the dark side, you actually go within the trilogy movies and begin like rewriting the entire movie series?
Oh, I thought that was cool as shit. Like,
especially being the one to kill Boba Fett.
Right, like killing Boba Fett, I was like, I'm gonna make you realize like the difference between a true like Sith and your bitch ass. Like I'm like,
and nothing funnier than blowing him up with his own rocket, and then the same thing like happens with like his dad's helmet. It just bounces on the floor and just stays where it is.
Oh yeah, well it's great because if it was made in 2023, after that would have happened, Starkiller would have done the Fortnite dance. And then you would have walked off.
Great. Now you I now want to see that. I
Walks
want to see someone just edit that, even if it's Gmod, just the same cutscene, and then it ends with just Star Killer in the same outfit as like the Sith Master, just
what is that called? Orange Justice or whatever I think it is. But then
I can't get it out of my head. I can actually see
I think it'd just be so great.
I know.
And then it'd just be like F in the chat for Boba Fett. Like
Boba Fett is kind of, I'm not gonna lie, overrated.
Boba Fett is one of the most overrated like characters ever. But as a kid, you didn't fucking care because he was an absolute monster. When you look at him and you're like, I'm going to be that for Halloween, and you're like, what? Irrelevant? Like,
yeah. I mean, you're so
burn, bro.
Yeah, he was so irrelevant. You could actually take every line he ever says in the entire series and make an entire Twitter post. That's how many lines he had.
Epic Rap Battle made a whole like comment about how he only had like 5 lines in the whole trilogy.
Yeah, and then one of the funny ones was when they said when he's like trying to tell Deadpool, you know, he's schizophrenics pay triple, one for each head. He says, "Who you calling schizophrenic? You've got 2 different voices."
Right. And the thing that's like I love too is the fact that like when what was it when Darth Vader goes over and he's like no disintegrations, and I'm like, damn, yeah, like. And like the fact that he's in there with like I don't know any of the other bounty hunters except for IG-88, and that's because I played Shadows of the Empire, and that motherfucker scared me. In that, there's a level.
You did get scared by that freaking robot. He looks like a walking stick made of metal.
You can't because the graphics are so bad you can barely see him. So like it is straight up terrifying. You can barely see him. The dude just snipes you. And then like, oh my God, yeah, just thinking about it.
I used to get so mad because I would get sniped. I'm like, it's not fucking fair. You're a robot. You have precise accuracy.
Right, though. Like, I may not be a Star Wars fan. I'm more of a Star Trek, but I do respect those, enjoy it. I just can't stand people like Rosa who make a big deal out of it. Who's Rosa?
Long story short, there was a person by the name of Rosa Ray Ramsey who was on my stream because she wanted this person who I also discussed on my stream named Zaid, aka Misanthropony, to be on my series Internet Horrors.
I've heard of Misanthropony.
What's that?
I've heard of Misanthropony.
Yeah, things did not go well. Long story short for this one,
Rip.
It was found out that he was creating alternate accounts and he was like sending like harmful messages to people and telling them like, I hope you get shot in a drive-by shooting. I hope you die because you, and there were like people he was attacking. And when I talked to him, I was saying, why are you attacking these people? All because they disagreed with you. Well, they were part of the group of people that were part of harassing me. So I thought they were instigators. It doesn't matter. All these people, I'm looking at all the comments that they were sending you. All they said, I am not bullshitting you, is I just disagree. I disagree with your opinion on this. That's it. And
the thing is so crazy about that is like you have to sit there and be like, "Oh, I'll show you," and then hitting buttons and this whole thing and being like, "I'm going to create a fake account," and I'm like, "Yo, dude, just you know, it's like someone disagrees with me. That's fine. They're probably wrong anyways." But like, it's just.
But anyway, Rosa was a person who wanted him on Internet Horrors, and there was another YouTuber by the name of Lyle Convoy who decided to bring himself into this because Rosa tried to get involved with him, and she started using me as like more of a threat to him, like saying, if you don't stop this, then Tek-no will just put you on Internet Horrors like he plans to do Misanthropy. I'm like, okay, wait. Do not use me as a shield. Here's what we're going to do. Both of you are going to come on. You guys can hash it out. It was later revealed that not only was she like friends with someone who failed to report a child predator, but she was friends with another YouTuber who had a Discord server who had not 1, not 2, but 3 child predators in her server for the span of 3 to 8 months, and this is a Discord server with children in it. So when it was revealed that she was like a part of this whole thing, she started freaking out. She started like, well, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I swear. And it was just like, no, we have evidence, including with your friend, which is Rebecca Starlight, that you guys knew one of these people was a child predator, but you told people to shut up about it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So the reason why Flamingo brought up Rosa was because for some reason, here's the twist though. There's a twist at the end of this. Rosa hated the fact that Miss Anthropony was very critical of Star Wars, specifically the sequel trilogies. Here's the thing though. Rosa even herself said she doesn't like Star Wars. Yeah. She got pissed because of what he was saying, but it was like, why can't you just stop talking about it? Why can't you just stop talking about Miss Anthropony is what we started asking her.
Dude, that's so weird. I cannot stand Rosa. She makes me uncomfortable, even after she said in a deleted Senate call a long time ago. Yeah, that's so weird, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, like I might not like everything that goes with Star Wars. Like, I am the type of person that I'm gonna poke fun at it if I see something crazy or whatever. You know, I'm here for the memes. I'm here for a good time. Like, there's that. You know what I mean? There's things I like about it. There's things I'm not gonna like about it. And you know, if you hear me kind of just kind of talking shit about it a little bit, it's because it's been probably 30 minutes since I've done it, and so and, I need to be able to get out my daily dose of Star Wars bullshit, or I'm just here for the memes. It's like even with the Disney, I haven't watched much of it anymore. I'm actually really just here for the video games at this point. That's why I'm actually kind of excited about Star Wars Outlaws. So like that's this is also really bothering me about Star Wars is the fact that like we have like this big expansive universe, especially just with the games itself, and you ain't using like none of it except for like this much.
Yeah, what's the point of that? That's my criticism. What is the point with this whole thing? But you're only going to use small snippets of it because if you have this expansive universe, there are so many stories you can tell. You can create so many stories, even if they're not going in chronological order. There are so many things that connect to one another, and there have been so many franchises that have been able to do that and have such an impact in storytelling and in continuation.
Well, that's like I'm not gonna lie. Like most of the stuff afterwards, like I watched The Mandalorian, season 1, and I think I watched season 2, and I was like, yeah, these are okay, and that was it. Like I didn't watch Boba Fett, I didn't watch Obi-Wan, I didn't watch Ahsoka, I didn't watch Andor, and like not that Andor's bad. I've heard it's actually pretty good. I just never got around to it. I have played Fallen Order. I want to play Jedi Survivor. Outlaws looks actually pretty all right. I'm just worried that it's Ubisoft and they just Far Cry Star Wars, and I'm not happy with that.
Yeah.
I played Battlefront 1. I played Battlefront 2. Finally came around before it became a decent game. But like in my mind, like there's so many ways you could take Star Wars games. It's like you said, it doesn't have to be in chronological order. I watched a couple episodes of like Star Wars Visions, which is basically just Marvel's What If, but Star Wars. And I'm not gonna lie, I only watched one of them. Thought it was dope. Never watched the rest. The thing with it to me is that I just for especially for video games, I want more. Like I don't need just another like Star Wars like Jedi Fallen Order one. I'm glad we're getting one that doesn't involve like lightsabers and all that stuff. But like fuck it, man. I just went back to go play Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Wow, the Pod Racer one, yes.
Xbox. I went to go back to go play it, and I had a bomb ass time. Even though that game is literally like 3 levels, and like 3 other levels are just mirrored levels.
Right,
it's hilarious, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I want something because it seems like all these games are focused on being a Jedi, being a Sith, or just fighting with lightsaber. I want like Star Wars commandos or Star Wars being able to play Star Wars as just your average soldier. Star Wars, they need to understand, is more than just the Jedi, the Sith, the Fallen Order. It's more than just that. There's so much more you could do. They even had that one with like you were like that bounty hunter, or like that one guy that was like a friend of
Han Solo. Yeah,
Han
Shadows of the Empire. That was on the N64. That was
Yeah,
I
and it was
love
so
that.
much
I love that
fun.
one. You could fight Boba. I beat the slave one. I don't care what anybody says. It's called the slave one. I beat the slave one with basically a pistol in that one. Then I get to ride the speeder bikes over through Tatooine against the giant toothy buttholes. And I'm sorry, that's basically what a Sarlacc pit is.
You basically would think that, though.
But you look. I'm sorry, if you were like flying overhead, right? You're flying in your little X-wing fighter or your A-wing, because I love the A-wing. And you're flying in there, and you look down at a Sarlacc pit. It looks like a toothed out butthole. It's so weird.
Do you know how much of a mind you have to actually like come up with that actual visual representation? Say, yeah, that is basically a butthole with teeth in it.
Because it looks like a butthole with teeth. Well, it looks like it. Like if you were like flying, if you were flying overhead trying to find the Nazca lines, and all of a sudden you see this giant pit, and it's just like, bro, I don't want to go near it. Like I don't want to go near it.
I'm afraid it's gonna shit.
I'm not afraid it's gonna shit. It's got teeth. It's gonna eat me. like look about it. Like the dude, Boba Fett got eaten by it.
A giant butthole.
Yeah, and then he just like, I'm not doing this, and just shot himself out. Like,
by the way, they actually do a face reveal for Boba Fett. I'm pretty sure you know about that.
Oh yeah, they did a face reveal for him, and he looks
like someone who just like stuck a pruned up potato onto it.
Oh, I know. Star Wars did teeth before teeth. But like, I love it. But no, like it is like when you look at them, and like the thing that gets me, this is actually something that I did pay attention to the book of Boba Fett. Which the title of it sounds a lot better. Sorry if you see me like itching my nose a lot. It's because like my mustache keeps touching my nose and it's annoying the hell out of me.
You ever thought about like trimming, at least like trimming?
Well, I was gonna just shave it, but then I realized
I can't imagine it.
No.
I can't.
Yeah, don't. Like,
I don't want to.
As a woman in her 20s, I act more mature than Rosa in her 30s.
Okay.
Oh, is that Flamingo-tastic?
Yeah, that's Flamingo.
Oh my God!
Right.
Don't even worry about Rosa Flamingo. Okay, just stay
Yeah.
Flamingo-tastic, please and thank you from the Afrofish. But the thing about shit, I got lost about the butthole thing.
You were talking about
the
Book of Boba.
Oh, the Book of Boba. The one thing about the Book of Boba that I wasn't a whole fan of is the fact that, at least in The Mandalorian, he still played true to what he was. Like, he had no problem sniping Grogu. Like, having someone snipe. Actually, I mean, really funny about it is basically it's like Mulan became a sniper.
Yeah, basically.
But like, also that lady, whose name I can't think of off the top of my head right now, is amazing in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Please see that movie. But I think it's so crazy because he's so like, oh dude, I'm gonna shoot this like 3-year-old. I know he's older, but I don't care. I'm gonna shoot this 3-year-old if you don't like basically give me my armor or whatever it was. I remember exactly what it was. And I'm like, dude, that's who he should be. You know what I mean? That's Boba Fett. And then when you hear Boba Fett be like, we need to treat everyone with respect, I'm like,
what?
the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the fact that they had, like, I don't get me wrong, I was fine with the fight with Cad Bane, despite the fact that Cad Bane's one of my favorite characters. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
They should have done more with Cad Bane. I'm just going to say that. They should have done more with him.
Like, Cad Bane should have had his own show. I would have watched, like, honestly, his arc in Clone Wars is so much fun. Now, I haven't had a chance to really go back to really, like, critically judge this show, but I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to. Like, I just had so much fun with it. Like, especially Cad Bane. Cad Bane was a bounty hunter unlike any other. His design was dope. He always felt like he was always one step ahead, especially even for people like Obi-Wan, like who's basically Obi-Wan is basically the uncle that just shit talks you.
Right.
Like, I loved it. Like Obi-Wan is like who I aspire to be because he's such a douchebag. Like
everyone makes him out to be
type-
like this nice guy, but really, in reality, he's
oh
kind
yeah,
of an ass.
watch him do the Clone Wars, and he just shit talks. Like no wonder nobody wants to like fight against him or nothing. Because I'm like, dude, he's gonna make me feel bad. I'm just gonna like start getting depressed and be like, I don't want to fight anymore. Like,
Screw you! I'm not playing anymore. I'm going home.
Like, he should have been there from the start. Yes, he should have been there from the start. He should have been there from the start. And I'm not gonna lie, trying to turn Boba Fett into this like, oh, someone who cares about people when for the longest time he never did, and it just felt like a whole arc that just went off screen. Doesn't help. You can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like it's like people who thought like Frieza was going to become a good guy. Like,
the problem is that people like knew Boba Fett as like this kind of cold-hearted bounty hunter. He did not care who he had to kill as long as he was getting paid.
Vader had to say no disintegrations to him.
Yeah, because he wanted to kill Han Solo. He wanted to kill his targets. But again, he's trying to convert them to the dark side. He's trying to convert them to work for him. So that's why he says no disintegration. And you can kind of hear it in his tone when he says "as you wish." It's like he's pissed off. He doesn't like.
It sounds like it sounds like he's almost scolding him.
Yeah, like
as you wish, fucked up or something.
But yeah, he doesn't. This idea of well, why really care? I do have a heart. No, that's not who Boba Fett has been. That never was who he was. He has always been a guy who says, I don't care who I'm hired to kill. I don't care who I got to go after. I don't care who you tell me to kill, whether or not they've done me wrong or have done you wrong, or even if you've done wrong to them and they want to get revenge. If you're paying me, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't change a badass or a cold-hearted psychotic killer to this person with a heart. This is not Dexter.
Well, and that's the thing. You could have gave him like moments where he's like, "No, I'm just not doing like you're not worth the pay" or something like that. But like, yeah, just trying to turn him into a good guy that people are going to respect and all this other kind of stuff it didn't feel right in my opinion. But I think Star Wars is in an interesting spot. I don't read the whole books a whole lot, probably because I don't read a whole lot. But I did read Darth Bane's, which was amazing. But I don't know, man. I feel like when it comes to Star, it makes you really fun. I just thought of this off the top of my head. Star Wars Sekiro.
Sekiro?
Yeah, like the Souls game.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, can we get like another like Rogue Squadron? Like, I don't want a movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't care about a movie. I don't want a movie with Rogue Squadron. I don't give a fuck about a movie about Rogue Squadron. I want to play as Rogue Squadron. You know what I mean? One of the coolest parts about the Star Wars Battlefront 1, or not 1, 2, was the fact of how you played through the campaign as the 501st, right? The 501st Legion. And it just felt like you were this. It was really cool how the story was told and stuff. And when it comes to like the Rogue Squadron, I want something to learn about that. I don't want it through a movie. I need to experience it. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be more interesting when I experience this than watching, like, because the movies are never going to. It's not going to immerse me as much as the game is going to.
Right.
Like I actually had a lot of fun. Have you played Star Wars Squadron? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off.
Here's the thing. I never got a chance to really play it, not only because I was young, but the only level that I did play was what fans considered one of the creepiest levels to be in. I keep forgetting which one it was.
This is the N64, right?
Yes. So I never got a chance to play it, but I'd love to.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. I like super enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I know there's a movie coming out for Rogue Squadron, but it's not gonna do the same. Nor do I give December 1998. Jesus Christ. It's just not gonna feel the same. I'm sorry, but like it's just not.
I feel like a lot of the creations that they're making with Star Wars just would have been a lot better should they just say, you know what, we're just gonna turn it into a game instead of a movie. There's so many things that they could make better as games. And
Kylo,
Mr. Square Body.
hey, come on now. Adam did the best he could.
He did the best he could. He really boxed that box office.
No, I'm sad.
Just seriously, what is a body shape? I still look back at it like, what is that?
Oh no, it still looks better than my beer gut. Hey, I'm sorry. Shut your mouth.
I'll laugh as much as I want.
Okay. But like,
I ain't a good-looking guy either. No, none of you are gonna see my face.
No, you ain't gonna do a face reveal?
Nah, only people who are like my personal friends will be able to see my personal account.
Oof.
Yeah,
that's fair. But no, I think like it would have been really cool, in my view, to have like a Sekiro like one, especially because if you watch the first one of Star Wars Visions, it was like this like samurai style. So I think that would have been really, really interesting.
But the question is, if you were doing a Sekiro kind of gameplay or story or gameplay story-wise, whatever it is, how would you make it work is the question. Would you be another Jedi? Would you be a Sith? Or could you be like a gray Jedi or like a gray Force user, which is
they're neither very linear, but I think it'd be it would be definitely like if you took Star Wars and brought it into like almost like a Japanese like a Ghost of Tsushima kind of style. Not exactly like it would be kind of like that, where like the fights feel a little more samurai like. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It just sounded really cool in my head.
Right.
But like I don't know, like it's one I'd have to think about. I'll tell you about it later. But I'm going to be pondering this now for like the rest.
Well, if they were to do that, it would be a question of. I feel like it could work. It'd be a matter of how to balance the use of the Force, how to make enemies that do use the Force not so much a challenge or like impossible to beat, but one that would require like concentration and the ability to utilize the Force along with combat skills. And I feel like if we wanted to make it even more immersive, give, like you said, what we did with Star Wars Force Unleashed, what we want, give different fighting styles when it comes to being able to fight your enemies. So in this case, I think there could be like grounds to maybe being able to create your own character and then you choose your own fighting style and maybe balance it out too, saying if you pick this kind of fighting style, you'll be strong in this area, you'll be able to do this, but you will have to sacrifice that for this. Like you might be weaker in attacks, you might have more speed, but you'll have to give less damage when you attack. I just see it like that.
So Star Wars Elden Ring.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I'd say
Star Wars Elden Ring. Like, and, I think one thing would be really cool too. Is like, dude, I want a Star Wars like Soul Calibur.
So like you get to pick your own like character and you fight each other.
Yeah. So this
does anyone here even remember Soul Calibur?
Hey, shut up. It's not been that long ago.
I feel like it has.
That's because nobody talks about it, because everyone ever talks about it is Mortal Kombat. Well, like,
rip out your heart, make you swallow it.
Yeah, well, they have to go find.
Can I be honest? I'm gonna make you laugh right here. I asked a friend of mine. I said, "Wouldn't you want to be Goro? Wouldn't you want to have 4 arms?" He's like, "Why would I want that?" He's like, "Why would I want to look like?" I'm like, 4 arms. You'd get all the bitches, 1 for each arm.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. I want 4 arms. Okay, like
yeah.
I want 4 arms. Like if I woke up tomorrow and I had like 4 arms. Like, you best believe I'm going to work the next day. Just like, someone starts talking, I'm just gonna be like, no, picking all like I deal with all the younger kids, pick one up on both underneath arm, and just keep on walking out.
Yeah,
Nope, we're not
I
doing
think
this.
what. Yeah, we're not doing this shit no more. We're done.
Like,
Yeah, we're done.
cracking the knuckles, like,
Yeah.
but like, no, I think it'd be really cool. Actually,
And it would come down to this too. I'd probably want to be like General Grievous, just like I have the 4 arms, and I'll sacrifice most of my body just to be robotic, just to keep only
hell,
the organs.
yeah. Okay, so I always joke about being like a cyborg, but like, I don't want to be like Grievous. Grievous is horrible. On top of that, that moron decided, you know, it'd be a really smart idea if I left my one vital organ exposed.
Well, I think that's where he really fucked up. I think you could do something like that, but the problem was Grievous was just way too fucking cocky. He thought he was untouchable.
Well, remember, y'all, if you ever think that, like, oh man, I feel kind of dumb, Obi-Wan tried to kick Grievous.
Yeah. I saw that moment. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen again?
Well, thank God it wasn't made by the MCU writers, because he would have kicked him and been like, oh, that's right. Like, dude, MCU humor is just, I mean, like, Obi-Wan, it makes, honestly, as dumb as it is, it does make some sense, especially when you're in like a bad situation. You're just trying to get away from someone.
That'll make you laugh. So someone got flamed on at a game club of mine back in high school, all the way up to community college.
Mhm.
And one of the questions they asked was, who is stronger in gunfights? Is it the Republic turned Empire stormtroopers or your average soldier from Mass Effect?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he got flamed on because one side was like, it's so obvious, at least they can shoot in Mass Effect. And they said, you have morons that are going to giant fucking sentient machines that can essentially shoot a laser and disintegrate you within a millisecond, and they're shooting right at it rather than thinking, how do I get away from this thing? At least if the Empire saw something like that, they'd be like, oh, fuck this, we're getting out of here.
I mean, they would be, but you remember in Mass Effect, I mean, if you even tried to get away, you're probably going to get caught by the Geth and turned into husks.
Well, no, you're thinking the first one. We're talking about the Reapers.
Oh, the Reapers?
Yeah.
Well, I can fight it. It's not that hard.
Yeah, just, okay. I'll tell you what, if the Reapers ever come, I will take you to one and say, hey, down here. Yeah, my buddy says he can take you.
Yeah, I was like, okay, bet, let's do this. And then it shoots this laser beam and forgets that I'm laser beam proof. And it hasn't been tested, but I'm just saying.
I mean, we might as well. What
better? Like, I'm pretty confident in my I'm pretty confident in my ability. See, I got my Ben 10 watch, but like
turn into Humongosaur.
No, I want to turn into Diamond Head and just keep shooting like fucking diamonds at it.
What is it with the fans' obsessions with Diamond Head?
Because he's a literal diamond. I can break pieces off of myself, right? And then go sell them for money. Yeah, nobody thinks about that. Like, you're a walking like literal like $1 million gold mine. Okay? Like, I would just be like, oh, just chip. And then, like, you know, it might hurt a little bit because I mean you're basically
well, why not just shoot? Why would you chip them off? Why not just shoot them off? Like, shoot them into the ground, and then when you go back to normal, you just say, okay, now I'll just pick these up.
I didn't think that went through yet.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't think.
I don't have to think it through. I am literally made of diamonds. I could just chip away.
But why would you do something that hurts when you could do something less painful?
Because I have problems.
Yeah, you clearly do. Maybe that's why you don't have hair.
Oh. I'm putting an F. That's an F.
Hey, I got hair still. Don't you dare.
Yeah, your hair still. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be great. I think I can take on a Reaper. I mean, I saw Harbinger seem pretty big, but you know what else is pretty big? My confidence. And so I think that I can take him out because I know if I punch him really hard,
you're turning into an anime protagonist.
I am the protagoon.
You're the Protaku. Protaku. Yeah. All I need is the power of friendship. I just need my friends beside me, and I can win any battle.
Yeah, but I need to find friends first before.
And a waifu.
Oh well, I have my waifu. We get married
you got
in
one.
6 months. But my actual wife. No.
I'm telling you. Oh boy. It's if there's one thing anime has taught me, and this could be used in Star Wars, you can beat anyone as long as you got the power of friendship.
Yeah, the one thing I'll definitely say, one thing I'll definitely say when it comes to Star Wars is that just like they say in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, power levels are bullshit.
Basically.
Like it should never you should be more powerful than me. Yeah, then why can you beat me? Because
I've always loved that answer. Because
the plot needs me to.
That thing reminds me of this video I watched in high school, and I still watch it to this day because it's just really hilarious. It's entirely in 7 minutes, the entire play of Macbeth with Legos, and it's this whole what about power levels? I'm just being stupid.
But the power of love. It's the power of love. They're absolutely correct. Because as long as you put the person that you love in significant danger, or my personal favorite is when they put themselves in danger thinking that they're helping, but they're really not, then you just get a rage boost, and then,
And the other.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh no, the person that I kind of thought was kind of cool I don't really know them, but they got kicked. What
I was trying to say was it's this whole I love that is basically a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, a lot of anime. Well, because the plot says so. It's the guy that made the 7-minute video and the Lego thing. He's just going. He's saying, "Hey, you have to kill King Duncan. Why do I have to? I don't want to because the plot says you need to." Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's
just
pretty
the
much
plot needs you to. Okay.
That's pretty much it. When you're watching what was it? When I was watching Attack on Titan, and episode 5, I think it is, before Eren gets eaten. Sorry, those are spoilers, but click off now. 3, 2, 1. Afro. So Eren gets eaten or whatever, or before Eren gets eaten, and they're like, "Oh man, we're gonna beat up the Titans," and you look and you're like, "Shit, they got 5 minutes still left."
Yeah.
Oh no.
We still got 5 minutes.
We still got 5 minutes. That's why I love. I love those little moments where you're like, "That's not good." Or it's I see this in Yu-Gi-Oh! More than any other show in the history of ever of bullshit, right? And it's all right, you really shouldn't be able to beat me. My monster is immune to all effects. It's sitting at 10,000 attack, 8,000 defense. There's no way. Ha! You think so? And it can't be destroyed by battle. Well, my monster can destroy your monster by battle. How? Because just and then their monster loses, and it's I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm starting to feel for the villains. I couldn't imagine. And that's what it feels like with Star Wars, where it's just sometimes it feels in Star Wars where much as they're well, Obi-Wan actually had his style was perfect for Anakin's, and I was I kind of wish Anakin would have just shot him partway through.
I do like that in the Revenge of the Sith game, you can actually get an alternate ending where Anakin wins against Obi-Wan.
Oh, and he pushes him near the fire.
Yeah, it's your turn, bitch.
Yeah, he just picks them up and puts them into the fire, and he's like, "Oh, that burns." Yeah, it's not much fun, is it?
I'm trying to imagine that he's like, "Oh my god, I'm on fire!" Yeah, you know how it feels now. Now you get in the suit.
Could you imagine if it was made by Marvel, where it's by the MCU? Where Obi-Wan's "It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground." And Anakin's
"Fuck you, asshole."
And he just has to jump after him. I would lose. Oh my god, I'd lose.
It kind of. Did you ever?
It just sounds so funny.
That reminds me. Did you ever watch the Robot Chicken Star Wars thing?
Oh yeah.
I remember my favorite one is when the Emperor says, "Hey, by the way, before you go, my face is really warm. Is everything okay up here?" He's like, "I don't know. What do you mean?" "Ah, my face, it's on fire." It's like, well, there is a possibility that when you're fighting Miss Window, he bounced your force lightning back to your face, and you just sat there and watched. Well, turning to the dark side was kind of a big deal.
Like I did. Sorry, I'm just. Well, I love. I mean, obviously, I think the most famous one for Robot Chicken Star Wars is the what do you mean they blew it up?
Oh yeah, it's just the Emperor talking on the phone. Who is they?
What the hell
is an aluminum falcon?
Like it just that's part of the other reason why I began writing my own original stories on Wattpad since my girlfriend introduced me to it. Cool. I actually write my own. Actually, I've been writing my own individual stories as well, both on Celtics, which is more for script writing, and on my notebook that I do while I work because I could be helping out my students, but I refuse to. So
yeah, but can I be honest? The Emperor's reaction in that skit is almost as realistic as anyone can get. The whole like the whole, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my Dark Lord of the Sith could protect a small thermal exhaust port that's only 2 meters wide."
Oh yeah, I know exactly. Like he's like, "So where are you? You spent 2 weeks trying to get a signal," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty."
But then the best part is this: the what? Oh, just rebuild it? Yeah, real fucking original.
Is that
and who's
Seth
gonna give me a
MacFarlane?
loan? Who's gonna give me a loan, jackhole? You got an ATM and that torso light right? And then he screams, "Now get your 7'2" asthmatic ass back here, or I'm gonna tell everyone what a whiny bitch you were about Padamami or Panda Bear or whatever the hell her name is."
Yeah, I think that was Seth MacFarlane for that one.
Yeah, it was. He played
Like,
the Emperor and Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's just fucking great. Like Star Wars' memes are probably better than Star Wars itself. It's kind of like that's why like I sometimes take Disney Star Wars as I would have not taken Disney Star Wars actually as my own, like I just don't include it in canon anymore.
Well, I can't really blame you considering how little they use their expanded universe.
Yeah, I just like it's funny because like episode 9, I remember I went to go see episode 9 and like my family went to go and see it and they were like, "Oh my god." My parents are like kind of like just normies, you know what I mean? Like they just love the movie. They see the pretty lights and they're just like, "Oh my god." And I'm like watching this movie like, what the fuck? So like like it was like when they're doing we got to do the light speed skipping and then like my brother looks at me like that doesn't make any sense. I will say though that the fact that they had this little droid in there and it's like, "What's his name?" and it's like Dio and I'm like, "Ho!" I just start making JoJo references the rest of the time in the movie theater, like because like you heard they said like, "Oh, my name's Dio." And like you could hear people just snickering back and forth. Like it was like I don't think I've never laughed this hard since you brought up the Robot Chicken skit. Dude, that's just fucking great. Yeah, dude, like I was laughing because like it was like, you know, so like I saw it and then someone like online like dubbed over the little robot with Dio's voice.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh my god, yes." like I was like, you know, Dio could have stopped all of it. Like, it's stronger than R2, no cap.
Are we gonna power scale R2D2 and
dude, we are totally gonna power scale. Like, yes, R2D2 does have some cool abilities, but he doesn't have Zawaldo and just fucking stops time. I wish I could join y'all, but I don't want to intervene. Maybe the next one.
Yeah, you should join us.
Oh my god.
Why not?
I need to meet like the flamingo.
Like join us to make fun of the stupidity of Disney Star Wars. Just sit with us on the bench and just point at them. Shame.
Well, remember, guys, when things start getting crazy, just remember, no matter how bad it gets, it's never gonna be as bad as the disappearing like dagger. Like Dude, I love that meme. Like it was
Disappearing
like it's
dagger.
dude. You don't remember the disappearing dagger?
I do.
Like episode 8 when it's like, I'm about to kill. Where did my dagger go?
Right.
Like, yeah, I didn't think that one too.
Where'd it
I need a
go?
link.
Where
I need a
is
link
it?
to it then. Yeah, definitely. Next time we'll have to do a link to it. Probably
Yeah.
won't be
Speaking
so-
of next time, I think this is a good time to like end it right here because
Oh yeah. We'll
yeah.
probably end it up pretty.
I need to
quick
start.
here.
I need to start stretching, and I need to. I don't know. I need some water or something. Good to
Oh, yeah,
have
I
you
mean-
back on. As for the whole Miles suit thing, and then maybe more discussions on video games, we'll set that up when the time comes. Because everyone asks me, when's the next episode of Technical Errors? Like, when do you plan to do another one? We do this on Techno Time, and they ask, what's Techno Time? It means I do it when I do it.
And Tek-no, I do it when I don't forget.
Yeah, when I don't forget, or when I'm really, really lazy.
Well, if anything, I will do is I will also can invite you to mine when I do another one. I'm doing a podcast. I just set one up on my YouTube, so AfrofishOG. Be sure to check that out. And that's with my other friend Black Scorpio. But I'm actually having. It's gonna be kind of fun. So this coming up here next year or the next whatever January. I don't want to be one of those cringe people and be like, "I'll see you next year." I'm not one of those people.
God. If you do that, I will punch you in the throat.
Please do, because I'm gonna feel really cringe.
Well, that's the thing. I've always told my girlfriend, if I ever do anything that is so cringy, so like down to the point where you feel like your teeth are gonna break or push back in your mouth because of how bad it is, take me out into the backyard and shoot me like Old Yeller.
Like Old Yeller. Well, you should write a consent form first, so that she doesn't get in trouble.
Well, yeah, I'll leave like a little contract and I'll leave my signature. I say, yes, I asked her to kill me. Okay, do not take her to jail. I asked her to do it.
Please do.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. I think that'd be so funny. Like just like they're like the officers be like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do with this.
But yeah, like so definitely. So next, it'll be coming here, not like start of January. I actually have one where I want to talk about. We're going to talk about the 2024 games coming through, and we're going to do a superhero episode.
Ooh, you guys have to tune into that. Anyway, good for you all to join us. You all take care now.
See ya.